All right, so there are a bunch of strategies to find the least common multiple. Today we're going to use prime factorization. So we start with the two numbers that we're trying to find the least common multiple. We're trying to find the least common multiple of 72 and 54. So I'm going to find all the factors of 72. I'm going to keep factoring until I've got all prime numbers. So I'm going to start with two factors. What numbers can I multiply to get to 72? Well, I know that 8 and 9 are factors of 72. 8 times 9 is 72. Neither of these are prime numbers, so I'm going to keep factoring until I have all prime numbers. So what do I multiply to get to 4? I can multiply 4 times 2, and now there's a prime factor. 4 is 2 times 2, more prime factors. And then with my 9, 3 times 3. I circled them so that I know that I've got all the prime factors. So we're going to do the same thing now for 54. I know that 6 times 9 is 54, two factors. I'm going to keep factoring until I have all prime factors. 6 is 2 times 3, and 9 is 3 times 3. And so I've got all prime factors. So step 1, find the prime factorization of both of our numbers. Step 2, we're now going to list those prime factorizations. I like to list them one on top of the other in order from least to greatest. So the prime factorization of 72 was 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And 54 was 2 times 3 times 3 times 3. And now for greatest common factor, I find just the factors that are in common. LCM is a little more work. We're going to start by finding all of those factors that are in common. So both prime factorizations have a 2, and both have 2 3s. So I'm going to pull out 2 times 3 times 3. But my next step is then I also take all of the numbers that I did not circle. So I have a 2, a 2, and a 3. And I also multiply those numbers. So the numbers that are in common, I multiply once, 2, 3, and 3. And then everything that was not used, I'm going to multiply again. Times 2, times 2, times 3. Now I multiply all of these numbers together to get my least common multiple. I'm going to break this into two chunks. 2 times 3 times 3 is 18, times 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. So I need to do 18 times 12 to get my least common multiple. Six, 9, 9. So 18 times 12 got me to 216. That's my least common multiple. Again, our steps. Step 1, find the prime factorization of both numbers. You keep factoring until you have all prime numbers. Step 2, list the two prime factorizations. And step 3, first find all the prime factorizations that are in common, multiply them once, and then multiply every other number that was not circled to get to our least common multiple. Hi, Alejandra.